Jonathan, welcome. Jonathan, what does real value creation look like today, and how has that changed for portfolio companies?
Yeah, so I think the nature of value creation is very similar. What has changed is the context and the environment, right? So over the last 10 or 15 really years, since the great financial crisis, the way businesses were constructed for value really relied on higher multiples and add-on acquisitions, and this introduced a ton of complexity. And now we're in an environment where there's just tremendous existential crisis almost every year, right? You think COVID to supply chain disruptions to hyperinflation and interest rates and now tariffs, right? So, the operating environment that we need to put our businesses into has really changed dramatically.
How do you manage that and stay nimble and responsive, but still think about the long term?
Look, as we think about kind of the traditional levers in a value creation plan, I think we've added one that's very important, which is simplicity, right? So, we're a distressed credit, opportunistic credit fund, and we're buying through the capital structure. And these companies have been undermanaged. But for us, we use this process to simplify them back to their core, right? So they've made a number of poor operating or strategic decisions that have added complexity. And when you get hit with all of these existential crises that we're seeing, if you have too much complexity, your ability to react to those markets is zero. And then that leads to distress. So we're trying to undo a lot of the damage that's been done to these businesses.
What are the toughest operational challenges right now, and how should investors be approaching those?
Look, foundationally, if I'm an investor, I'm probably looking to find avenues to take advantage of deploying capital where you have capabilities to handle this distress, because there's a lot of distress in the market. But fundamentally, if I take that lens on what's hardest, it is keeping the management teams focused and organized and disciplined and making them brave in an uncertain operating environment. Because, in this environment, you're trying to make a few strategic choices that will create advantage for you in the long term vis-a-vis the competitive alternatives. And it's really unsettling for management teams to operate when they feel like the ground is consistently moving. You take 120% tariffs in China, right? Do you choose to price it through? Do you choose to buy inventory? What are the choices you're going to make to create advantage? And so we've been very focused on helping our companies do that.
Talking about creating advantage, if you're a company looking to scale right now, what are the levers that you can pull for margin and productivity gains, especially?
Look, first and foremost, you have to have discipline on pricing. As you think about not just the primary impacts of tariff, and I'm probably a little bit U.S.-centric in my thinking, given them on the operating team in the U.S. here, your discipline on pricing, you really can't take that margin risk. And then as you step through, step one of tariff or an environment, then you have to react to the demand shock that's going to be coming through. And that really is then rolling directly into what operating levers can you pull forward to drive, specific value in the business and reshape it. In the case of a number of our businesses, items that we thought were going to be year 2 and year 3 in the operating transformation, we're pulling into year 1 because we have the burning platform, we have the management team's attention, and we believe we can accelerate these.
Joel, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.